If you're like me and you're a Raider fan, but you were confused by the title and topic of this video, then there's something that you should know. As soon as the calendar flips from May to June, we get $20 million more to spend on the construction of the roster for the 2022-2023 season. And that is all thanks to some fancy financial footwork, say that 5 times fast, by our GM Dave Ziegler. He cut some people before a certain threshold period. He reworked some contracts. A lot of financial mumbo jumbo. All you need to know is that when June 1st hits, we get $20 million more to spend. And people have been wondering, are the Raiders gearing up to make a run at some more free agents that are still available? And there's a lot of good ones out there. Well, I'm here to tell you that I don't know what they're going to do. I'm just going to tell you what I would do. I got a list of names here that I've written down. I'm going to talk about each of them. How do they fit? How do they not fit? And we'll go from there. I got a couple wide receivers on this list just to add some veteran leadership, some championship experience, and some athleticism to the room. However, these are two receivers that sort of struggle to stay healthy, so I wouldn't be relying on them to make super impactful plays throughout the whole season. That is Julio Jones and Odell Beckham. Now, before the alarms go off, I'm not saying I would sign these people 100%. I'm just bringing them up, seeing maybe how they would fit in my brain in the Raiders offense, and then we move on. And then at the end of the video, we'll talk about who should we sign? What should we do with the money? Julio's an interesting prospect because I don't think he fits. It would be cool to have Julio and Devontae. Here's what it comes down to with Julio and a little bit Odell, although I think Odell fits better than Julio. I think a lot of people are clamoring for the Julio Jones thing because it would just be a cool thing to do. If you can get him for the league minimum, sure, I would do it. But Odell is a better choice, number one, because he can take time to rest and heal, to learn the playbook, to get some chemistry with Derek Carr before he's fully healthy. And then second half of the season where the playoff push comes in, Odell comes back. We're full steam ahead. Devontae, Renfro, Waller, Jacobs, Keelan Cole, Demarcus Robinson, Odell Beckham. Now, is it plausible that we could sign him? Sure, it's theoretically possible. Is it something that I think is going to happen? No. And also, I don't think I would make a move for another wide receiver. I think we're pretty set in the wide receiver aspect. Let's talk about a couple defensive players now. The first one being Chris Harris Jr. Now, last offseason, he chose the Chargers over us. Whoops. It's okay. All things are forgiven. Chris Harris, if you want to come to the Raiders, I would more than welcome you. The reason I say that is because our cornerback room is still relatively young. Trayvon Mullen is going into his fourth or fifth year? God, it's been so long, I can't even remember. But Nate Hobbs is also there, and you got Rocky Sin. Those are our three starting corners. You have Darius Phillips and Anthony Everett. But bringing Chris Harrison to get some meaningful snaps every once in a while and to mentor the kiddos is something that I think would go a long way. That's something I actually would do, is go out and get Chris Harris. Also, he knows a lot of the Charger secrets and some of the Broncos as well. I wouldn't mind, hey, Chris Harris, tell me what you know. The other defensive guy is Anthony Barr. Now, the linebacking core is interesting because the two starters you have for sure, Divine Diablo and Denzel Perriman. Two really good starting linebackers. Cleveland Farrell has made the joke, but people didn't know if he was kidding or not, that he's being moved to linebacker. Jonathan Abram plays a little nickel linebacker. We don't know what's going on with the linebacking core. And I think Anthony Barr is someone who I really liked coming out of college and had a pretty good career so far with the Minnesota Vikings. I think he'd be someone to add, again, some veteran leadership to an otherwise up-and-coming linebacker like Divine Diablo. The goal here with this $20 million, in my opinion, from the names on this list, is to get people who can solidify the roster. There's no huge difference makers that you're going to go out and grab with the $20 million. And you're not going to use the $20 million on one person. The last guy I would consider signing is Eric Fisher, the offensive tackle. It doesn't hurt to bring in more tackle depth because we've seen time and time again multiple people at the same position in the trenches, offensive or defensive line, go down in the same game. And all of a sudden, we got to play someone we've never heard of at right tackle or left guard, and we just got to hope and pray that they last long enough to get a healthy so-and-so back. And getting another tackle like Eric Fisher, who is an established pro in the league, would be something that I would also advocate. So if it was up to me, of the people on this list, I would go after Chris Harris, Anthony Barr, and Eric Fisher. However, I think I know what the Raiders are going to do. I don't think they're going to spend the money on anyone that's not already wearing a Raider uniform. I think they're saving the money to extend Darren Waller and Hunter Renfro. I think the roster we have now is the roster that they think can compete for a division championship, a conference championship, and a Super Bowl. And I agree with that statement. I have another video coming out very shortly comparing this roster to the 2011 New England Patriots roster, and there's very key elements that are not obvious to this roster that share similarities with that roster, and I think we're closer than ever to getting back to the Super Bowl, something we haven't done since 2002. And I believe that keeping the core together is the most important thing. This team needs to stay exactly the way they are to create the chemistry and the vibe and the culture to convey a Super Bowl run. And Hunter Renfro and Darren Waller are very important pieces. Hunter Renfro, according to Vinny Bonsignor, is most likely to get extended before week 1. Why hasn't that happened yet? Because we haven't gotten the $20 million post-June 1st money. Darren Waller is someone also up for contract. The trade rumor was not true. He will get re-signed. I promise you that. And I believe that they're waiting to get that money to start negotiating and restructuring these contracts to sign these people long-term. Boom. If you guys have more topics you'd like me to discuss, comment below. I'll take them. And if I like them, I'll give you a shout out in the video that I use it in. Like I said, I have a new video coming very soon about how I think this roster is very similar to the 2011 Patriots team who lost to the Giants a second time in the Super Bowl. I also have I already did record prediction, but I have playoff predictions, which is also coming soon. I need more topics to discuss. Comment below, let me know. Please be sure to subscribe. It is free after all, no charge to you. And just win, baby.